and thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we are on how to be a customer in this competitive market through three core stories: founder, product, and mission, organized by Applied Science and Humanities Department of Parul Polytechnic Institute, Parul University. The main agenda of this webinar is to learn the strategy to build an amazing founder story through storytelling, strategy to build an amazing product story through storytelling, and strategy to build an amazing mission story through storytelling. I, Vaishali Nathwani, would like to introduce today's speaker, Nadia Devita Oktarini, the co-founder and Chief Marketing Officer, FIC Group and Chocola Cafe, business influencer, Jakarta, Indonesia. She is a talented Chief Marketing and Business Development Officer with a demonstrated track record of success in both traditional and online marketing. She is a young entrepreneur with extraordinary enthusiasm, have brilliant ideas in developing business. She is an ambitious woman who wants to learn everything to support her vision. She has been collaborated with multidisciplinary teams in the development of. She has been recognized and awarded by CMO Asia and World Brand Congress. She has been chosen as volunteer ambassador for Internation and also chosen as an online trainer and speaker for some e-learning companies. It's our privilege to welcome you, ma'am. We can start with the session, ma'am.
Okay, hello. Thank you very much, Mrs. Faisali and also Mr. Hemal. Can you hear me? Okay, sure.
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Okay, I'm Nadia
Yes, ma'am. You are
Devita.
audible.
And I'm co-founder of FIC Group and also Chocola Cafe. So today I will discuss with you and present to you how to win customers in this competitive market. So directly I open the slide, yeah. Okay, strategic marketing. How to win people in this competitive market through three core stories. So I'm Nadia. I already informed you before that I'm co-founder of Chocola Cafe and FIC Group. I'm also public speaker and edutech trainer. So strategic marketing. Effective marketing creates trust, or also can be said that if you cannot get people to believe on you, they will not buy. In this competitive market, your story is the surest way to become a trusted marketing or communicator or broker and not just as noisemaker, yelling maker. Watch me, I'm the best. No, you are not. Because you need to make three core storytelling, which is, and even if you do not do it, the market won't believe in you until you communicate your story effectively. So instead, focus on strategic communication that bring your target market to your journey. Best brands do this by communicating three core stories that unite the past, present, and future. We call it the three core stories. So what is three core stories? It's actually founder storytelling, product storytelling, and also mission storytelling. Okay, founder story is basically the story of I, is the past, where you come from, why you exist, the transformation that made you worthy of being a leader, and what you want and what you can impact. It's basically about you, personal branding, and this kind of stuff. Product story, it's basically the story of we, present, how your product or service can change life today, and what makes buyers feel special and unique, why your product is good to be bought. Mission story, the story of us or future, how your product or service will make the world or us better, how the world feels the different when you are there, what change you want to make in this world, a mission that you serve, support. Do we need these three core stories? No, it's actually not a must, but if you can apply these three core stories, it will be very good if you want to start a business, or even you, if you're working for someone, it will be good to support the company that you are working for at the moment. So, but we must consider each of these stories because we will have power in our marketing or communication message. For example, one, great founder story. A great founder story or co-founder story will make you believe in its founder, and this is why he does what he does, because of what he goes through. I believe, I want it, I want to learn from here or her. because he or she is worthy leader. Later, I will inform you the study case of Starbucks founder. We only have 50 minutes, so I will be quite fast. So there will be a Q&A later. So it's basically like the way you do personal branding. Why someone or anyone need to listen to you? Why you are worthy? Why Elon Musk or why Bill Gates or why Warren Buffett is success, and we need to follow them in terms of business model and in terms of the way they execute the business. So the second one is great product story. Great product stories will make you believe in their products due to continuous R&D, quality improvement, and innovations. I like the coffee. I'm talking about Starbucks for the example, yeah. So I like the coffee. The interior is all about coffee philosophy. The packaging is very unique. Therefore, if we want coffee, we must remember Starbucks. Or if we want to eat donuts, we must remember Jeko or Dunkin' Donut or Krispy Kreme. So basically, if we go anywhere on the world, like we go to Indonesia, we go to India, or we go to China, we go to other part of the countries, in our mind, like, okay, Nadia, where do you want to go for having a coffee? So in my mind, for the first time will be Starbucks. I'm sure everyone also think about that as well, because Starbucks is a coffee lifestyle business. So the third one is a great mission story. Your big mission story will make others believe and want to be part of the mission. So basically, we can see like Elon Musk. Elon Musk has Tesla and have also SpaceX. His solar power company and SpaceX. He wants to save the world or planet. So then everyone wants to be part of his mission. That's why he is Elon Musk, and that's why he is a unicorn. So basically, about our mission. Do you have a great founder story that you haven't shared yet? Can you make your product story stronger? Can you start sharing all the information about your brand and how the world will feel the difference because you are on that mission? This combination of stories must be the basic for your marketing, messaging, and everything you do if you want to attract customers and grow your business. So either you are working for someone or either you are still a student, want to build a business. So either you are a founder of a startup company, you need to have these three core stories. So you need to build a very strong personal brand, either in social media visibility. It can be in LinkedIn, it can be also in Instagram, YouTube, and you need to be very active. So people will follow you time to time. Doesn't matter, 50 subscribers and then time to time become 1,000 followers, time to time become 10,000 followers. I built my personal brands already since 2017, and now I already have 30,000 followers in LinkedIn and Instagram, around 60,000, because time to time I always upload something in my social media and give my value to my audiences. So this kind of thing you need to do it. Same also like the product story, you need to show that the audience why people need to buy your product, what R&D you do for your product, why your product is unique. You need to do some of study for to reach this kind of level. So you need to really do some of research why your product. You need to make something unique. Like me also in Chocolate Cafe, my chocolate is from Belgium. We import the chocolate. We have premium chocolate, and we want to make euphoria of the chocolate. And so in terms of the design, we make a very nice design. So this kind of things you need to expose. Also, you need to have a very nice photo if you want to have online business or offline business. You need to have a very nice photo in your Instagram and many other things. And the third one is a mission. It's a mission like Elon Musk has Tesla. He wants to change something in the world. He wants to save the world. Like me also, I try to apply it on my business as well in Chocolate Cafe. So chocolate is actually international. I want my customer from everywhere in the world. So I welcome also my customer from local. I welcome my customer from international. So basically, many people from all over the world, they come to our shop. So they actually, the mission is actually, I want to fight against racism. So I want to see like people from Indonesia. I do welcome also my customer from India. So there is no racism. It's my mission through my Chocolate Cafe. This kind of thing. So you need to know what you want to achieve, what mission you want people to join you, to support you. So Starbucks marketing strategy, how to introduce a new culture with an old product. Seattle-based coffee achieves something every entrepreneur dream of building a new culture and becoming a leader provider in their own industry, or not only in their home country, but also throughout the world. You believe or not that Starbucks offer impressive statistics. They already generated 24.72 billion worldwide, which actually the second after McDonald's. McDonald's valued at 44.5 billion and Starbucks is the second. So popular in China, new store open every 15 hours. Do more than 90 million transactions per week and more than 14,000 cafe in United States. Backstory, page 1. I will inform you about Starbucks story a little bit. So coffee culture in US before 80 didn't exist. So American use large can of coffee and they don't care about the taste. Even if you go outside for dinner, you will meet with drip coffee. Nobody thinks about the taste, origin, or anything more sophisticated related to drinks. The coffee culture, 70s until 80s didn't exist at all. So now everyone try to open coffee shop in India, in Indonesia. So many people try to open coffee shop because already been proven that this business is good. In 1970, three college friends, Gordon Walker, Jerry, and Jeff Siegel, made coffee business together. They set up shop and sell roasted beans. They received knowledge from a man named Alfred. This Alfred is actually one of the most knowledgeable people in America about coffee. So they asked Alfred to help them in terms of the coffee bean that time. The name Starbucks come to mind because it's easy to pronounce, impossible to misspell, and has the vaguely British overtone to it. So at that time, they actually make business just like that. So and after that, around 1971, the friends opened a roastery and bean shop in Pike Place in Seattle, US, destination known as the Pike Public Market Center. The business was successful enough for the trio, so they opened four more shops in Seattle. However, no coffee drinks were being served. This was still a roasted bean retail shop. So Starbucks in 1971 or around 1971 or 70. So this Starbucks actually only a roasted bean retail shop, not a cafe. So they make a retail shop to sell the coffee bean with the packaging, this kind of stuff. And something about to change when a guy named Howard Schultz in 1982. Howard Schultz is actually the head of marketing of Starbucks, which is now actually the CEO of Starbucks worldwide. So founder story. I already informed you that three core stories include founder story. The inclination for grit and determination to fix social injustice. So Howard Schultz was a child raised in poverty. After seeing his father injuring himself doing grueling manual labor, he decided he wants to get rid of the injustice of the working class. So basically, I want to make the story short that at that time, Howard Schultz is actually really feels sad because he feels he raised in a child poverty at that time, and then he wants to make some changes in his life. He wants to work hard to fix the injustice because he see that his father losing his sense of dignity and self-respect. So deep in his heart, he knows that he wants to be success because he doesn't want to make same mistake like his dad is being a laborer but getting paid so little. So he wants to change. He has a grit to change his life. So Scott started working at the age of 12 selling newspaper, and then he received his bachelor degree in communication. After his graduation, Howard Scott spent 3 years as a sales manager, and then he started working at Swedish company, and then after that he worked in Starbucks, hired by that three founders. So in 1983, Howard Schultz get an epiphany. He travels to Milan. So basically, during being a head of marketing, Howard Schultz go to Milan to check what's happening there, what business happening in Italy. So for some sort of conference, and what he sees there changed his perception of coffee forever. In certain European countries, especially Italy, coffee was one of the most important things in life. It served as a social lubricant and the third place of dwelling between home and work. So if he went to Milan, so he saw that so many coffee lifestyle. You can sit in the middle of Milan and people enjoying coffee like a lifestyle. They make the design like if you see Starbucks at the moment, you see that you can enjoy working in front of your laptop, and also you feel like home and also work, like home and office at the same time in Starbucks. The interior, the ambience, and etc. It feels like you are in in office, but actually make you feel comfortable because it feels like home. So in 1985, Howard Schultz opened his own chain. So basically, at that time, because after he flew from Milan and then back to United States, he tried to talk to the boss, three guys that I explained earlier. So he told him that we need to make a cafe the way the Italian people make a coffee lifestyle business, but they ignored this idea. They ignored his initiative. So actually, he was very sad. He was very broken. So he said that I was crushed, but my belief was so powerful that in April 1986, I left Starbucks and raised money from local investor to found my own retail coffee company. I named it Giornali. So 1985, Howard Schultz opened his own coffee chain, Giornali. He wanted to pursue the dream and went back to Starbucks owners and offered to buy all 6 stores that were operational at that time. With the help of fresh venture capital, he succeeded and became the CEO of the successful acquisition with 3.6 million US dollar. The hypergrowth began. So basically, after he left Starbucks, he made his own company, and then he take over the Starbucks business with copying the copy and deploy the concept, the same concept like in the Italy. So key one is actually the determination and underlying belief to change the current situation is not just helpful attribute. So basically, you need to really have a reason in your mind and your heart why you have to be success. You should find you should see what's happening in your life. Like me also, I really want to be success because I see that my father used to be cheated on business. So I need to be success because by making the family happy, to take back what already been taken in my life, it makes me happy, this kind of stuff. So you need to really understand personally what you want in this life. So product story, an old product in new market. You can see example of this everywhere. Whenever something works out in incredible scale in one market, there is a potential of seeing it succeed in a new one. This is called introducing an old product to a new market. For example, Uber and Lyft built an incredible business about ride sharing because they have to contain the growth before they are spread too thin. That give the opportunity to copycats in different markets. In UAE, you have Careem, in Slovenia and Croatia you have Cameo, and India you have Stride, or also there is Ola. This kind of stuff. If you see something success in another country like Uber, Gojek, we by copycat. I don't say it's exactly copy, but the concept we can copy and we adjust with the local market. I'm sure it will be success. Coffee was a big opportunity in the US at that time. So Howard Schultz saw it with his own eyes, how effective and important it is in Italy, and he knew he could do similar thing in the US. So basically what Howard Schultz did was he tried to copy what was success in Italy and brought the concept to the US, which was not exist at that time. So there is 4 type of business: market development, new market, existing product. It's actually something like Starbucks do. Starbucks go-to strategy was to bring the already established product in different culture and geographical space into the new market, the coffee culture, the pre-US. So basically, it's actually new market, which is US, and existing product which was already exist in Italy. So he copied the concept and he adjust to the local market. Howard Schultz's task was to closely observe how Italians treat the product and figure out how a way to bring it home with minor changes. Actually, he tried to copy and then adjust the local market about the local taste, like how whether US people love which kind of coffee, they love espresso or how, these kind of things. It actually bring the existing product to the new market. The second one in actually market penetration. The old market, old product. The most obvious strategy is to sell the existing product to the existing market. With this concept, there is a little risk since the company don't have to educate the market with the new product. However, the growth is inhibited by competition or the decreasing. That is actually doing business in red market, red ocean. So basically, everyone do it. Like if you see that so many e-commerce already in Indonesia, in India. So this kind of business is it's competitive. So the one that will be success is actually have apply marketing strategy, need to prepare marketing strategy very effectively, and also many aspects So this kind of thing called market penetration, old market, old product. So diversification, new market, new product is actually blue ocean. We call it blue ocean because no competitor yet or not much competitor yet. So by far the riskiest approach is introducing a new product in new market. Not only the product needs to provide clear value, but it also has to educate its use in the new market. Imagine bringing augmented reality technology in a country where there is no practical use for it yet. Since there is a great risk, it can also result in amazing success where you are the only provider in the blue ocean market. Most of the startups are banking on this strategy. It's basically startup that really don't have a competitor. Let's say I'm talking about a company like let's say Amazon or Zoom. I talk about Zoom. Why Zoom can be success? Because no one was thinking that this corona will happen. No one thought that this virus thing will happen. So the founder of Zoom actually created the idea of doing this kind of virtual meeting that actually once something happened like this, which we didn't expect, so he becomes success. Then the valuation of Zoom is very good. But also this kind of business, new market, new product, it also can gain you very big loss. And at the same time, if you know how to do it and if you are lucky, it can create amazing success. So this is the diversification. And the fourth one is product development, old market, new product. This strategy is most often used by established brands who are already known as a leader in their field. If a washing machine company introduce a technology that also folds your clothes, they also will buy it. If example, there is a brand called LG, let's say for a washing machine, or LG already been known. They are famous in the world. If they want to make another product to fold your clothes, of course, it can be easily informed to the customers because the even because they are already old, they are already strong, old market or old business and launching new product. This is called product development. Key two, when developing the new market, learn as much as possible about the product itself in the location where it's mostly used and established. Identify all the major benefits and think of the most significant value that will succeed in the market. So basically, we need to understand which way of business we want to do. That is for things that I already explained earlier. So in the third, I will inform you about mission story, eco-conscious, people-friendly, and bringing in the money, Starbucks triple balance act. So Starbucks have a vision to make a people-friendly business, to make eco-conscious business, this kind of thing. Howard Schultz had an idea to build something that is almost impossible to imagine and can exist only in utopia. From the start, he wanted to serve with equal importance toward customer and employee. So basically, he want to make the employee happy first, because in his mind, what he saw about life, the injustice, like sometimes as a boss or as a leader, we don't understand our employee, what our employee feeling. He want to make the employee feel happy. Because why? Because a happy employee can create a happy customer. They will work more than 100% to achieve the company success. This is almost impossible to achieve since on one, and the business investor want to see money coming in. Okay, in business sometimes if we deal with investor, okay, it's normal. Like if we invest our own money or investor invest in our business, it's normal. It's about profit. In business, it's always about money, and profit. It's very rare for any investor or any financial institution see in the long term. It happen sometimes, but it's very rare, because whenever it comes to business, it's always about profit. The staff or partners, as Howard Schultz called its employee, are not only compensated at fair wage or around $10 until $15 per hour according to Glassdoor, but also have healthcare insurance and discount stock option for company share. So basically, Howard Schultz make a very good thing for the employee, for people friendly. It start from the employee and then the customer. So he wanted to make the staff feeling happy to work for him. So he gave around $10 until $15 per hour. It's a very good amount, right? So he also gave a healthcare insurance, discount stock option, and also he give also online degree program for the staff, which is very amazing. It's very rare in this current of time. This kind of people is access. So this idea was most likely outrage to shareholders, of course. To deal with investor, it's about profit. So he found difficulty at that time to talk with the investor until time to time he can convince the investor that if we can make the employee happy employee, they will give 100%, which is will affect to the business. If you see company like Amazon, like Google, if you see the Google office, it's very amazing. Like the way there is for resting, for nap place, also there is a very colorful office. They treat the employee very well. Amazon and Google, this kind of stuff. So they want the staff to feel happy to work for them, and because if we are happy, we will give 100% of our skills and our contribution for the company. So striving for workplace quality for the employee was that's one of the main value the CEO implemented in the company. The interesting analogy is the Jordan Peterson theory of order and chaos, yin and yang, where one side represents the profit that company must achieve. At the same time, we need to give the good side for the company through treating the employee very well. Treat your people well. It's a key three. Treat your people well when you are in the service industry, especially service industry. The customer satisfaction and treatment is at times more important than the actual product. So basically, if you ask me, Nadia, Starbucks is actually coffee shop business or service business. Actually, they more to service business with the coffee product. So basically, related to cafe business, I'm not talking about takeaway. If there is a dine-in or there is if there is also a sitting like for people having coffee together, like Starbucks, it's basically a home and office lifestyle, coffee lifestyle at the same time. We need to make the ambience nice. The people need to be friendly. I mean, the employee need to be very friendly with the customers. If we know how to treat the employee well, then they will give the best service as possible to treat the customer well, and the customer will be satisfied, and they will come back, purchase. The strategy about product, I will talk about the second core stories again, and strategy for product. So better coffee. To coffee drinkers, there are not a lot of things more important than a good coffee in the morning or during the day. While in today's standard Starbucks drinks are at the level of barista artisans and coffee aficionados. On the contrary, many smoke noises, scrap and chilling even when someone mentions Starbucks. But when the shop started opening in the early 70s, 80s and 90s, the espresso and latte were vastly different than all the other stuff people were drinking. So actually, meaning that Starbucks intended to make a better coffee. So in US, actually around 70s, as I explained earlier, so there was no good coffee. There was no good coffee lifestyle. There was no, because everyone drink coffee from the can. So it was not cool at that time. So this Howard Schultz bring this concept that he did copy it from the Italy or Milan to the US and improve time to time. It's very important to always improve and do R&D time to time. So coffee quality comparison. So Starbucks predominantly use dark roast coffee, which also represent the majority of the coffee that is being consumed in North America. As mentioned, the coffee quality was much better than instant abomination in the early 80s. However, it definitely cannot measure up to artisan roasters. But it wasn't just about the coffee alone. The branding kicks in and people pay for something. They want to eventually become drinking Starbucks remain. They are sophisticated, culturally progressive individuals and who enjoy premium experience. So in Starbucks, it's actually not about only the coffee quality, not only making a better coffee. They create the lifestyle, coffee culture, this kind of stuff. Sometimes if we buy a laptop like Mac or we buy phone like iPhone, it's about lifestyle. Like we will feel premium person, I'm sure you also have this kind of thinking. The way we use Nike, why they there, it's actually about branding. Not only about the better coffee alone itself, it's also about the branding, the feeling premium, feeling sophisticated, like feeling important, this kind of stuff. It actually, if we see people bring the Starbucks cup, we will see like, okay, like if you see also the tumbler and also the cup, they are very nice. You can see in their shop, and you can see also in Google, in internet, that they create, every time they create the new design for the tumbler and the cup, which is very important for F&B business. set the offer. Later on, Starbucks adapted to the marketing with something called horizontal offer. It wasn't just about the dark roast and espresso, but also young budding students wanted something sweet and mocha. So at that time, they want to give more offer time to time. So if you see in Starbucks, it's not only about dark roast coffee. They also make the products more and more. Start from the dark roast Italian roast bean, and also start with after that they continue to develop the product, become mocha, which is coffee plus rich chocolate fudge, and also after that there is also tea, there is also snacks. So they create time to time, year to year, they create more larger product type. So this kind of thing. And the fourth one is diversification of revenue. By having a strong and recognizable brand, the company can afford to put out merchandise. Starbucks holiday theme mugs and localized artwork on them are a big part of the exposure. So if you see in Starbucks, they always have, as I explained earlier, they always make a very good and luxury mug and also tumbler, and people still willing to buy. I remember last time my friend want to buy the tumbler. It's around 40 tumbler. It's around 19 million rupiah, or around 1,500 US dollar, and people still willing to buy. Because why? Because the feel of important, the feeling of premium, this kind of stuff. So diversification of revenue, not only the coffee itself and the product itself, they also create a merchandise. So once the market is established, you switch from market development to market innovation role. Starbucks started to diversify its product and push them in retail space and also other teas. So time to time, after build the coffee roasted bean, they actually develop to tea, they develop to other products, and also you can see now, especially in the Corona time, they are actually selling in a retail space. They put the product in retail space, as you can see here. So they actually not only sell in their shop, but actually they put in the retail space. So they always diversify their revenue, because revenue is very important. You cannot only rely on one. You cannot only rely in one type of product. So it's very important for everyone to diversify their revenue. The big drivers are also snack, wholesale beans, before mentioned merchandise and coffee equipment. Beside the coffee and tea, they also sell also snack. If you go to Starbucks, you will see they sell so many snack, and they take from the suppliers and they put the branding of Starbucks. That's the way they do it. And well-sold beans, also they sell the beans to the retail store, and also merchandise. Merchandise is very good business, especially for F&B. And actually, they also sell coffee equipment. So need to diversify the revenue, but related to the core business. So need to be very matching with the business. It's not possible if it's not cool if a coffee business or chocolate business and then selling Indonesian food, which is nasi padang or nasi rendang or Indian food, it doesn't match, right? If we want to make a very premium coffee business or premium cafe, especially related to coffee or chocolate thing, we need to find a way to diversify the revenue, which not disturb the core concept. So the key for is, while the product is one of the key component of a successful business, think about the potential upgrade of it. So basically, time to time, we need to do R&D, from market development to market innovation. So time to time, we need to see what's new and apply what's new in the world. We need to apply this kind of stuff. So I have another maybe 10 minutes. I will inform you also from the beginning. This strategic marketing is not only can be used for any one of you that want to start a business, but if you're working in a company, now everyone doing it. Everyone's what I see is now 2020, everyone start doing their building the personal brand, which is good because it's very important. Okay, you if you are introvert, you don't need to show your face, but at least you need to build your social media visibility. Because why? Human to human connection is very important. As a marketing person, I deal with people, so it's actually human to human connection, human to human deal. We buy product because we like the way the salesperson sell to us, correct or no? Yeah, so we need to understand that to make other people believe on you, you need to show to people why you exist. You need to either show to your boss, to customers, to investor why you exist and why people need to follow you. Why what value you can bring to them without expecting anything in the return first in the beginning. If we are still building our personal brand, we need to understand first, like we need to build value time to time. We cannot just ask someone to pay us, and in their mind will be what value you bring to me that I need to pay you. It doesn't make sense, right? So we need to give value, give, and then later on you can charge. Give. Actually, the percentage of building personal branding, you need to give around 70% give for free, and 30% you need, and then 30% you will get from the customer. Either it's the money other aspect that you can charge, for me also at the moment, I'm doing business consultancy. I have some of my clients also, there is a business consultancy, they want to do business and they ask me and then I charge for them. And then there is also some of the high level people, they want to change the job, I make CV writing for them. And there is also some other startup, they don't have time to make the website, I make the web content for them, so many other things. But before I charge for them, before I do work for them, which is being paid by my clients, I built my personal brand first in Instagram, in LinkedIn. I did it for free for them because I want them to trust on me first. If they can trust on me, then they will buy my products or they will pay for my service. And the second one is product story. It's actually the story of we present. How your product and service change life today. What makes buyers feel special and unique? Why your product is good? It's basically about your product. Like the way I explained about Starbucks. Why Starbucks is very unique. Why people want to buy? Because they have a coffee culture. They have a coffee culture and also coffee lifestyle to be brought to the US, which you can apply to your business. So this kind of thing. And if you sell a service, you can also tell them you basically need to build the personal brand. It's very important. It's number one, founder story, or also you need to build the personal brand first. And then the second one, what service you can make them feel great and special to be bought. Like if you see the Starbucks, the way they sell the mug, the way they sell the make design for the tumbler is very, very unique. And me also in Chocolate Cafe, we try as much as we can to change our packaging and then to build, to always improve our product and service, the way we greet the customers and the way they can remember us time to time. Because by serving well to the customers, they will feel special. It's about product story or service story. And also the third is the mission story. You need to make why why you need to make people believe on you personally after they buy your product, to make them really support you for free. If you see many company tagging Nike, many company tagging tagging any other, let's say go to Zara or go buy Nike or go buy Gucci. Why they happily share it to the social media? Because they believe that let's say they buy an iPhone. The iPhone always changes year to year. They always upgrade their product, right? So why they always share? Because they built culture, they built lifestyle, they built the luxury thing for the business. So people are willing to buy the product. So this kind of stuff. So we need to make people want to take the business for free. Why? Because it's very important. By having mission story, influencer or a customer, they will take your business for free, which is very good. It's like customer reference or like influencer reference. This one is not only can be applied for all of you that is early startup business owner. you can also, as an employee, you can support your boss, you can support your leader by build your personal brand. So basically, you need to show who you are. So let's say I'm a marketing person, I'm promoting Chocola Cafe, but I also have besides Chocola Cafe, I'm an individual myself, and I need to be access beside the Chocola itself, because Chocola is belong to me also, and I have my other partners. We do together, but beside of Chocola, me as a human being, me as an individual is also exists. So you need to build your personal brand. Even though you are working for someone, you need to start bringing value. Let's say you know about coding, you need to, or whatever passion you're doing. For me, I really love marketing. I really love reading books. So in my social media, I always share, or I always bring value to my audiences about, okay, this book is very good. And I have a review on this. If you want to know how to start business, and if you want to know how to attract investor, you need to buy this kind of book. I always share or giving a checklist of the book that I read and recommend it to my audience for free. So this kind of stuff. So basically, you need to build your personal brand. And product story, of course, if you are working for someone also, you need to always know, you need to analyze why your product is unique, why let's say why people need to buy your product, and you need to really make a list about the advantage. You need to really do analysis for your product and service first, because basically you need to be very specific. Doing blue ocean business in a red ocean, you need to be very specific why people should buy to you, why you are unique, why you are the best, this kind of thing. So hopefully it is clear. So maybe we can do Q&A at the moment, because I guess I talked too much already.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, Vaishali, madam.
Yeah. Good.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much
Yes.
for the beautiful section, ma'am. That is one question from our end.
Yeah.
The question is, which skills and qualities we should take care to win the customer?
Pardon?
Which skills and qualities we should take care to win the customers?
So basically, to win a customer is, as I explained earlier, there is three story or three type. So basically, it's to win a customer is actually human to human connection. So if let's say I want to sell a product, let's say I'm talking with you, you are my customer. I need to make you feel happy. I need to make you feel comfortable to talk to me first, right? So, hello, Mrs. Faisali, I have this product. This coffee is very nice. Maybe you can find another similar product in other shop, but this is very good for your health, because the coffee is also organic, and the price is maybe a little bit expensive, but I guarantee you, if you have coffee in my place, you will be very happy, because my staff is very humble, and you need to be really, you need to make people feel comfortable to you first, because I believe that everyone in a sales or marketing or founder that really able to sell something, they know how to make people like them first as individuals. So basically, founder first. So we need to create people to like us first, in order for them to buy the product. So we need to make them trust us first for make them to buy the product. So founder first, because it's important, human to human connection. And then the second one is why the product is different. The way we talk to the customer. Let's say you are my customer, I need to make you feel comfortable to come to my place and feeling happy to have my chocolate or to have coffee in my place. So after that, we need to make especially me or my staff, we need to make you feel happy. And if we are happy, let's say we go to coffee shop, let's say the stuff is very nice, I'm sure we will go for the second time, for the third time. It's very important. And the third one is mission. So let's say sometimes if we see in cafe, like they try to reduce the plastic, right? They try to reduce plastic for drinking. They try to reduce the plastic. So we need to make them feel like we supporting eco-friendly. We don't use plastic anymore. We only use whatever, either cotton or whatever product, but not plastic. Because why? We are eco-friendly cafe. So basically, these three types, like I explained earlier in the presentation, is very good. How about, like, we need to really write, like we need to. It takes time for me or someone like Howard Schultz or me also want to make a strength in my cafe. Need to be very careful in terms of analyze these things, like why people should trust me, why people need to buy my chocolate, because our chocolate is Belgium chocolate. No one here yet in Indonesia sell it, and the mission is to fight against racism. So we need to really do research, this kind of thing. Yes.
Okay. And second question just has came,
Yes.
ma'am. What type of quality required for developing product?
So quality to developing product, we need to understand that either it's a startup or technology, or either it's required offline business. We need to always ask our customer opinion. Customer oriented business is always proven good time to time. If you see why Amazon is very good, Amazon is very big now. They even become billion valuation company. Why? Because they treat the customer well. They try to improve. They try to listen the customer. Because let's say we do online business or technology business. So the one that really can hear customer. Okay, we don't need. Okay, we need a coder. We need someone that can do coding. Yes, but by apply customer voice or by apply customer opinion to the product, time to time, of course, there is R&D, research and development also. At the same time, need to apply what customer said, because for me also, I do e-commerce business like Amazon. I'm still new on that, but I'm sure, like Amazon, they know how to make money, because they built also Amazon e-commerce, Amazon Kindle. Also they make also Amazon Associate. It's basically Amazon Associate is basically commission based. Let's say you don't need to have a product, you don't need to sell something, but you recommend this product to other people. If these people buy directly, you will get commission. So basically, need to hear to always improve quality or to make quality development product. We need to always do R&D, research and development by ourselves. At the same time, we need to really hear our customer. Customer focused business will be making huge impact for the business. Yes.
Okay. And how can we analyze the product?
To analyze product is actually it depends. Of course, like if you see that so many why there is 4 type of business I already explained earlier, like Starbucks, they do market development, copy. Actually, being copycat, if you see in every business, not only copy. I didn't say copycat. I prefer to say copy, but improve. Copy, improve. If you see why, I don't want to say this, but if you see why China can be very strong in terms of technology and this kind of stuff also. Of course, they try to copy US business and they put to China, but copy and improve. It's always good, because to do 100% research and development is actually, or analyze new product is actually takes so much time and money. Because why? But of course, if we do business like Zoom, the way we use Zoom conference, like it actually can be risky at that time. If Corona not happen at the moment, or maybe it takes time for Zoom to be success. Because why Zoom is very success is because Corona happened, so anyone stuck at home, we need to use it. Of course, Google Meet also and Zoom also. So everyone is trapped at home. We cannot go out. We need to do a quarantine. So directly we use the product. So actually, like I said, as I say that doing a blue ocean business is good, but to do R&D, research and development, it takes energy, it takes effort, it takes money, but it can give a big impact, either big loss or big success. So this kind of thing. But the safest one is actually the way the Starbucks do, like or copy and improve, or copy and modify a little bit and adjust the local market. It's actually easier to be done like that.
Okay. And how much time probably is required to develop quality product, quality brand?
Quality brand, okay. To make quality brand is actually depends on the team, of course. To make a quality, because branding is actually, I can say that minimum 3 months. Why? Even though offline or online, we need to have a very strong people, because this one is cannot be done by one man show, cannot be done by one person job. Why? Because I will inform you that online big business or whatever online business which is success. Because to make, let's say I want to explain the online sales process. So basically, in order for customer to buy our product, we need to, if you see that why people doing YouTube, why people start doing a YouTube channel, or making YouTube channel, because why? Because by making contents, because people connect to human connection is about emotion. So like by making contents to YouTube, then it will we can guide them to the landing page or to the website. From the website, we can guide them to purchase our products. It's actually minimum 3 months. It's actually it needs time. Because why? Because it actually cannot be done by one person. It should be done by a team. Someone that really know how to make content, copywriter, someone that know how to talk in front of camera, someone that can do video production, video editing. So actually, it's actually maybe one person can do it, but it needs a good skill, because need to know how to talk in camera well, need to be very confident to talking in camera, to make the content, need to make also at the same time need to know how to do editing, need to do video editing and content editing, and also at the same time need to know how to make the website, need to know how to make the landing page thing, need to know how to do sales, because sales is actually not only about emotion, not only about human to human deal, not only about human to human connection, it also about numbers. Let's say we want to achieve, let's say 1,000 US dollar per day in a cafe. We should know how to calculate that. Let's say we have 60 seat. So we should know how much price we need to apply to achieve 1,000 US dollar with 60 seat, and how many hours we need to build the customer to buy the product. So basically, it depends. It depends on the size of the company. But of course, it's not only one man job, not only one man show. It should be a team building, because why? Because to do this kind of work is actually need to have many skill set, which is not easy. For me also, at the moment I'm trying to increase my personal brand, but and I'm still learning also some of the thing to do design, because I'm an engineer before, and then after that I become marketing person. It's not my expertise to do graphic design, but I'm learning, because I want to be independent to design my own social media visibility. So it actually depends, but 3 months is a minimum.
Great, ma'am. We have covered all the questions. Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Yeah.
giving us your valuable time.
Thank you. Yeah. You're welcome.
I would like to thank you. I would like to thank you, head of our department, Mr. Hemal Patel, sir, the HR of our institute, Professor Jatin Vaidya, sir, and the academic director, Dr. Mahesh Bhatt, sir, and president of our university, Dr. Devanshu Patel, sir, for motivating and supporting us continuously. Last but not the least, I would like to thank you all who assembled here today for this webinar.
You are welcome.
Thank
Very
you.
very happy to be invited by Mr. Hamal and also you, Mrs. Specially. I wish the Parul University will be success time to time, and yes, very happy to share my expertise.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, madam.
Yeah, thank you.